Good afternoon, folks. I'm here in Donaghadee. I'm in with my old friend, Sammy Sedgewick. Now, Sammy, I want you to look at this man and say to yourself, well, wonder what age that man is. Wonder what age, right? Now, I was actually shocked, pleasantly shocked, whenever I heard Sammy's age. I reckon that he was maybe late 70s, early 80s. I certainly didn't think that you were, what age are you, Sammy?
91.
91. First question, Sammy. How the dickens have you survived to 91 and you're in tip-top shape? And
still driving.
Still driving.
Not very far, but
I know, but still driving.
Yeah.
Your eyes are good. Your hearing's good.
I've
And
got hearing aids now.
what is your how have you managed it?
Well, Tom, everybody asks me this question.
Right?
What's the secret?
Yeah. What's the secret?
And then I have to be a bit jovial about the thing
Right.
and say, it's the Donaghadee air.
It's the Donaghadee air.
And
Okay.
Kills your, cures you.
Okay. Anyway, I'm here to. You were born in.
Born on the 2nd day of October 1927 in 178 Argyll Street on the Shankhill Road.
Right.
I lived there for a few years, and then as you saw in the book there, I came over to live on the Donegal Road.
Right.
My parents and we moved to there,
Right.
and we stayed there for a while. In those days you shifted about from house to house,
Right.
and we maybe because maybe a better house,
Yes.
but really and being good about it, and I always tell people this, there was nothing to beat the kitchen house rearing.
Why would you say that? Was it
Because I more or less was brought up
I know.
in the kitchen house.
I know. Was it the community and friendliness with the neighbours
Oh
and
yes, we always, in those days, there was even mixed communities on the Donegal Road.
Right.
And the Grosvenor Road.
Right.
And the best of neighbours.
Yes.
It didn't matter what religion they were or what. You've heard many stories about the people, about next door neighbours, Roman Catholic neighbours, and if you weren't well and so forth.
Yes.
They used to bring you in a bowl of broth or a pot of stew.
Yes. Yes.
And they locked the door in the morning so your dad could get up and go to work.
Yes. What did your father work at?
My father, I think he started off he was born in 1900.
Right.
And I think then when he got a job in Coombe Barbers. Now Coombe Barbers was an engineering firm in
Right.
North Hard Street
Right.
that run between the Paul's Road and the Donegal Road,
Right.
or the Shankhill Road. And he worked there for quite a while,
Right.
and then it eventually closed or whatever. And by this time then, I think maybe the war was looming.
Yes.
And him and my mother, they both worked in Mackey's during the war.
Right.
They
Okay.
were on the musicians making shells and what
Yes.
have you.
Bomb materials
Yes.
or
For the war.
munitions.
Yes.
Right. This is the Daily Mirror, and this box set of the Daily Mirror. This contains all the newspaper articles
1927.
in 1927 on the 2nd of October, whenever Sammy was born. Events of 1927, and I'm just going to run the camera down those. So this is the day Sammy was born. And this actually is a wonderful gift to give anyone who was born on a particular date, and you can send away for these. And there's the article about the racing car, and there's an article about a serviceman as well, and gives you pictures and everything else. So this is a fabulous gift set, and there's all the football information and all the rest of it, and you can check up exactly what was happening on the date you were born. I think this is brilliant. Somebody might want to give this for a grandfather or great grandfather. Brilliant job. And Sammy's great-great-grandchildren, was it, provided this wee...
Yes, they all...
Great-great-grandchildren have made this wee sort of scrapbook detailing parts of his life, or most of his life. So this is you, Sammy, with your sister and your brother.
Yes.
Your brother's 84, your sister died of cancer whenever she was 50.
And she died in Beaconsfield, up in...
Yes. So you were born 2nd of October 1927 in Argyll Street in Belfast. Right. And we'll just turn over the page. Right. What, do you remember your primary school days?
I started off, when we left the Shankhill Road and came to live on the Donaghadee Road, I eventually then had to go to Broadway Public Elementary School.
Right.
It was up between Donaghadee Road and the Falls Road.
Right.
It was up at the top. So I was there for a while. I was there, and then when I got older, then I moved to the Grosvenor Road, and we went to Grosvenor Public Elementary School.
Right.
And it stayed that way for quite a while until it became Grosvenor School.
Right.
And that's where all the folks on the Grosvenor Road and Roden Street all went to the Grosvenor School.
Right. And what age would you have left school?
Well, what happened then when I was at Grosvenor School, on the 3rd of September 1939, the war broke out.
Right.
And it was a really bad morning. The rain was coming down, and the people were all out at the doors of their houses.
Yes.
And Bird's Telegraph, if you remember Bird's Telegraph, they produced a wee telegraph.
Yes.
A penny telly.
Yes.
And it went round all the streets. So then after that, when people started to realise, so we were at school anyway, and then they started this evacuation thing.
Oh, right.
And
so you were 1927.
I was 12 years old.
You were 12 years old.
Yes.
So
we were ready at that time. Most of the school then were being evacuated.
Right.
And I ended up with a lot of other people in a wee village called Tempo in County Fermanagh.
That was a right distance away.
Well, it could have been anything up to 87 or 90 miles away.
Because I have talked to other gentlemen who were evacuated, and they were one of them was evacuated to Carryduff, and the other one was evacuated to Carrickfergus. So you were evacuated quite a distance.
The Grosvenor School crowd, most of us all were put up around the different counties then.
Right.
We ended up in Tempo.
Did your sister and your brother go with you then?
No.
So you were on
I was the only one of the family that was evacuated because my brother was born in 1934.
Right.
So he was only 5-year-old then.
So he was too young to be evacuated, really?
And then my sister, she was born in 1936.
Right.
So she was only 3-year-old.
So they wouldn't have... there was an age thing. And were you evacuated? You were a young, just a schoolboy, and
yes.
You were on your own, really.
Well, we went up to Tempo, and there was a lot of school friends.
Aye, with you, but there was no family.
No, that was I was the only one of the family that was evacuated, and I can't remember very much about how my sister and my brother, how they were looked after.
Yes.
Because my mum and dad were working.
They were working in the munitions factory.
I haven't come to...
So maybe relatives or neighbours or...
Found out about this.
Yeah, right. Okay.
But anyway, I went to school in Temple.
Would that be near Enniskillen or...?
It is, it's 7 miles from Enniskillen.
Right, okay.
And it was about 5 miles from 5 Mile Town.
And how long did you stay down there?
2 years.
2 years?
Because what happened was, I was still evacuated when I was 14.
Right.
So you left school in those days at 14.
And you, yes.
And a funny thing was, one time during the Blitz in Belfast, the very bad Blitz, I think 1941 or so.
It would have been, yes.
And what happened then was most of us came home for Easter.
Yes.
And then the Germans came and bombed Belfast at that Easter period.
Yes.
And we all had to go back.
Of course, Scarborough.
Back to Temple.
For fear of
Yes.
getting in the next raid.
But anyway, when it came to the 14 years of age, then I had to leave school.
Correct.
So I came back home again.
Right. So the next photograph of you that we encounter here is in 1950. So what happened in the intervening period, Sammy? What did you do after you left school?
Well, when I came back and left school, then I just settled down at home.
Right.
And I think one day I was down in the town in Belfast, and I saw an advertisement in a shop window.
Yes.
Message boy required.
Right.
And it was W. Erskine Mayne's, the bookshop.
I know, I remember Erskine Mayne.
Yes. So I eventually went in and I got the job as a message boy.
Right.
And I rode a bike with a basket on the front.
Yes.
And delivered books and messages and papers and everything.
But the war was still going on at that
war
time.
was still on.
So you would have seen lorries full of troops and armoured cars and everything going up and down. Maybe seen soldiers marching, parading, everything.
And the Americans were here too.
So you saw the Americans.
They arrived here.
Right.
You know. But anyway, I stayed there. I was in Erskine Mayne's for. Then they eventually had another shop 2 or 3 doors up in Donegal Square West, and they done radio repairs and stuff like that.
Yes.
And they done blueprints and things for the law courts.
Right.
And I used to deliver that stuff down to them.
Right.
And then eventually number 6, as we would have called it, they had 2 vans on the road, and it's the big sign on the side saying about this is a NAFI organisation sponsored by ANSA.
Right.
Now ANSA was one of the things during the war that the troops were entertained.
Yes.
Things like that.
Yes.
And Erskine Mayne's then, they had this contract that they went out in the van to different RAF camps in Northern Ireland.
Yes.
There was some in Newton Butler, Crossmaglen, and I got a job with them.
Right.
Still Erskine Mayne's.
Yes.
But we went then showing films to the RAF camps.
Right. Entertainment. Right.
And all we done was we had a projector,
Yes.
Western Electric projector,
Right.
and big reels,
Right.
and we carried a couple of films with us,
Yes.
and we went up. Now we went away maybe on a Monday, and we went up to Crossmaglen and showed the pictures there, and then we moved down to Newton Butler the next day,
Yes.
and we stayed in the camps
Yes.
the night,
Yes.
and we had our food and all there.
And I'm sure that you were well fed.
Oh, well fed, the best.
And all the nissen huts and what have
Nissen
you.
huts, and we were privileged to sleep in the sergeant's hut.
Right.
And so,
My goodness. So you saw a bit of life and you're only, what, 16,
I was
17?
16 years of age.
Uh-huh.
And then we showed pictures and went different places until eventually all the different camps. And then on the Friday night we ended up in Kilkeel and showed the picture there. But I seen the same old picture for a while.
What kind of films were you showing?
Well, in those days there was war stories like, I don't know, remember In Which We Serve.
Yes, I remember that.
Pictures, and I saw it about 14 times.
I know. And so there were, and what other movies, what movie stars can you remember?
Oh, well,
Earl Flynn and people like that, would that have been?
In them days there was, like, I suppose, all the old cowboys like Tom Mix and Ken Maynard and Gene Autry and Roy Rogers. And
so you were showing all of those?
All those old
That's
pictures.
brilliant.
It was good, you know. But then eventually I was just hitting about 17 years of age.
Right.
And I was down in the law courts one day.
Right.
And I was delivering blueprints. And I met a man there called Mr. Ogilvy. And he said, and we had a chat. And he said to me, what are you doing? I told him what I'd done. And he says, well, you're at an age now, you know, that I think you should consider maybe serving your time.
Right.
And I said, well, like, if you're going to serve your time, you usually go when you're 16.
Yes, so you'd sort of missed the boat a bit.
17.
Right.
And he says to me, if I could get you an apprenticeship, would you be willing to do it?
Yes.
And I went home and told my parents, and they said, oh, that'd be great, you know.
Absolutely.
So I got a job then in an electrical engineering and contract place on the Dublin Road called James Crawford's and Company.
And what kind of things would you be doing in there?
Well, I was an apprentice.
Aye. So you were learning a trade.
Learning the trade.
And
James Crawford himself, he was a Quaker.
Right.
And when he took you to see a job, he walked in front of you with an Alton-Eden hat and a big long black coat.
Right.
But it took you around to different places to tell you what had to be done.
Right.
Now we worked very extensively in the like of mills and stuff like that.
Right, doing the electrics.
We worked in Henry Street, flax spinning.
Yes.
And then we went up to Lenaderg in Banbridge.
I know Lenaderg.
Those were all engineering places and linen places. And then we done work in Belfast. We worked in Browns and Normans and all the big shops and stuff.
Putting in their electrics and fixing it.
Keeping
it running.
Maybe. And then we went up to Mrs. Brown's house in the Malone Road and done work for her.
Right.
And the day the war ended, I was working in Browns and Normans.
Right.
And I was up a ladder, putting a pressing tube in one of the fittings when word came that the war was ended.
So you were, what, 18?
I would have been about, I could have been even about maybe 19 then, 19, you know.
Right, okay. And did you, that was VE Day?
That was May, yes,
and
VE Day.
Would there have been celebrations?
Well, the place then, everybody was out and around the city hall and everybody was
excited.
Celebrating. And then, so then when that war ended, but the Japanese war was still on.
Right.
And it didn't end until 1941, 45.
Right.
So I was still working away there, serving my time. I think I started to serve my time maybe in 27. I could have been about 17. I've been 27, what was I?